I have struggled to lose weight my whole life. It's like fat is attracted to me, but not just fat, it's like muscle. It's just weight. My body just wants to be heavy. My ideal weight is something like 55 kilos, like it's ridiculous. At the moment, my muscle itself weighs more than 55 kilos, so I don't quite know how that's going to happen, physics or whatever. I have so much energy, like I can run around, I can dance, and not that I'm dancing that often. I get into bed and I could keep going. It's kind of a problem, but also I don't dislike it. I have to go and hunt for food and search for it. Fine, make me hungry all the time. That will probably make me survive. When I'm constantly hungry in a world where I can get anything I want right around the corner, that's not a good thing. If we get a cancer treatment, will people then be like, oh, well, cancer was your choice? No, because nobody thinks that. Hello there, and welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we're talking about... I'm not actually Australian. If you've been following my podcasting journey for the past few months, you may have noticed, if you're watching on the YouTube, but if you are not watching on YouTube and you're just listening to the podcast, you may not have noticed that I have lost an incredible amount of weight. We're talking 10 kilos. And today I'm going to explain to you, firstly, how that happened, if you don't know already. Secondly, what that's done for me. But there's not just positives, guys. There are negatives too, because I am a little bit scared for more reasons than one. And today I just wanted to talk about my weight loss journey so far, what it's done for me, but also what demons it lurks for me in the future, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, all right? So let's get into it. Hello there, mate. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dawn. I'm Dawn. And then I turn into an American. So 10 kilos. How much is that in? I don't know if I've actually truly lost 10 yet. I haven't weighed myself in a while. But when I weighed myself a few weeks ago, I was on track to be losing 10 kilos probably by now. So 10, it's like the golden number. I'm just like waiting to get there. 10 kilos in pounds is 22 pounds, which in stone and pounds is great. 22, 1 stone, 1.5 stone, 1 stone, 8 pounds. That is a fucking lot of weight. And that just goes to show like how much I was before, and I really didn't notice. Like I was starting to notice it, and then I was like, I need to lose weight. For my health mainly. Do you know what? All I was thinking about was my health, but obviously it's nice to look nicer and feel nicer. It's sad that I want that to be a part of it as well, but sorry, that's just the state of the world. Like, being thin is socially better in our culture. So, firstly, one of the biggest... Oh, wait there. Probably should have told you how I lost nearly 1.5 stone. Fuck, that's so much. I say it in both because obviously some people don't. I don't even need to explain that. Some people don't know like what 10 kilos is. Go to the gym or don't and pick up a 10 kilo plate and you'll see how much that is. Pick up 10 bags of sugar, kilo bags. Pick up 10 litres of water. Pick up 10 bags of flour. Like, it's so much fucking weight. It is unreal. And to think that I've lost that so quickly is, like, really crazy. Now, if some of you have been following my YouTube channel, you will know how I have lost that much weight. And if you haven't, you can go check out my videos on my YouTube channel, which is at Dawn Barlow, which is DawnBarlow. Pretty easy peasy. So basically, I've got a couple of videos on there about, I've been doing these weight loss injections, and I have had mixed feelings about it, but generally positive. But I'll get a bit more into that in a bit. I wanted to do the thing is I held off about doing this podcast for a while because I want to cover it on my YouTube channel, but then I understand that people might not want to sit down and listen to me talk for like half an hour, 45 minutes. So I might create a condensed version of it too, like how it's changed my life when I hit that milestone anyway. Because I don't actually know if I'm there yet, you know? This could all be a pipe dream. No, I'm almost there, I'm pretty sure. So, I've been doing the weight loss injections. I have been on now 3 different types, but only 2 different medications as such. They're just different brands. And honestly, like, I have struggled to lose weight my whole fucking life. It's like fat is attracted to me, but not just fat, it's like muscle. It's just weight. My body just wants to be heavy. I don't know. I honestly don't understand it. It's like some kind of backwards law, gravity situation. The issue is everyone thinks, oh, it's your fault, it's your choice. Not like you want to be fat, but it's your choice, right? And it's like, okay, if you have never had issues with your weight, you can fuck off, all right? I don't even care about saying that. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, is that too harsh? No, fuck off. If you've been the same weight, like, all your adult life, like, and you haven't had to, like, diet, or not that I believe in dieting, but you haven't had to restrict what you eat or whatever, you've never had any issues with your weight, you do not understand. As I quote from famous Friends, no uterus, no opinion. No weight issues, no opinion, okay? Because you just, like, what did Eminem say? He said, you'd have to walk in 1,000 miles in my shoes and you then still wouldn't even really understand it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the quote. In fact, let me find the quote because that was really embarrassing. Okay. Are you ready for this? This is going to be my fucking rap entrance to the world. I'll be one tough act to follow. One tough act to follow. I'll be one tough act to follow. Here today, gone tomorrow. But you'd have to walk 1,000 miles in my shoes just to see what it's like to be me. I'll be you. Let's trade shoes just to see what it be like to feel your pain, you feel mine, go inside each other's minds just to see what we find, look at shit through each other's eyes. Okay, that was bad, that last bit especially. Okay, I hope I didn't get like copyrighted for that, but basically I don't think he actually says, I thought he said like you'll still never understand, but there we go, he doesn't say that. You'd have to walk in 1,000 miles in my shoes to understand what it's like. And if you are a fellow fat gainer like me, then you will get it, okay? It's like men will never understand the birthing pain of labour, okay? That's just a fucking fact, right? So, yes, I get it. I might eat more than someone who doesn't put on weight as easily as I do, but I think it's also I end up putting on weight because I have this like genetic predisposition to just eat more, and also it is a learnt thing as well from childhood, because it's like eat all your food before you leave the table, and it's like I don't want to, I'm actually full. No, push past that hunger, push past that fullness and override your body's natural instincts. Okay, so some of it's that, and I tell you what, if you didn't have that torture as a child, like fair fucking play to you, because we should not be making people eat more food when they don't want to. Anyway, that's just my little irritation, all right? So that's how I've lost weight. Do I feel somewhat guilty about it? I'll get into that in a little bit because I do have some mixed feelings about it. But number one is the biggest thing that has happened to me, I would say, is, she's about to yawn. Ooh, it is. Okay, let's point out, right? Ooh, it is, I don't know, it's nearly like 11 or something at night. It might be 11. So it's quite late. It's not like 4 p.m. I'm not saying like 4 p.m. naps are fully acceptable too. But basically, my biggest and happiest thing that I have that's changed, and it might be other things too, okay? We're accepting that might be the case. I'm trying to get that over there. Come on, fella. There we go. Is that I've just got more energy. I mean, you might have been able to see it in how I've like changed over the past few months. I have so much energy. Like, I can run around. I can dance. Not that I'm dancing that often, but I have an incredible amount of energy. I can get into bed and I could keep going. Like, it's kind of a problem, but also I don't dislike it because I'm like, I don't want to be tired all the fucking time. I think some of that is, I think most of it, to be honest, is, I think there's 2 things, right? 3 things. I'm coming up with more. Number 1, when you're just carrying around 10 kilos of extra weight, a lot of weight all day, every day, you're sleeping with it, you're going to the toilet with it, etc., etc., you use more energy to carry that round, and it's tiring. Okay, it doesn't really make sense, because you think that if you had to carry around extra weight, you would then be in a calorie deficit because you'd be moving more weight around. Like if I put a 10 kilo vest on, but then you just end up eating more because you burn more calories, right? And also that extra fat needs more, because it's like attached to you. It's not just like extra, you haven't just put weight on like externally. That extra fat needs like blood vessels and shit going to it. So it needs like energy itself, right? So I think that's it as well. And then was there a third one? I mean, I thought there was a third one, and now I've kind of forgotten it, which happens quite regularly. So, I've remembered it. It's also that if you end up needing to eat more calories. So I think you end up eating maybe like shitter foods or whatever. It's like a vicious circle. You end up being heavier, so you eat shitter foods to make you feel better, maybe like more sugar or whatever. That ends up making you crash, and then you're more tired. So it's like a lose-lose, really. The next thing, my energy levels are fucking through the roof. It's insane. Like, I can't believe it. Because I think I've also just noticed it a lot because I've lost weight so quickly. I've lost 10 kilos, 1.5 stone in 5 months, which, is about on track for about 0.5 kilo a week. Is it? No, not as much as that. But anyway, it's like a pretty good, nice straight line down. So, it's approximately that. I did have a bit of an issue where I had to switch over medication, so I haven't lost as much as like I maybe could have done. But that's fine. I'm fine with it. So I think my next thing is just being happier in my body. Like, I fucking hated my body. Like, it honestly made me cry. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I cried about how much I hated my body. And in turn, that again is a vicious cycle, because you end up hating your body, so you don't really want to go and exercise. You don't have any energy to exercise, and then you just, I don't know whether you like comfort eat or something, but you're like, I just want to do something to make me feel better. And so you just like watch TV or whatever. You don't end up moving. And it's just like a sad vicious cycle where you're just sad and you're like, I don't want to go and do yoga because like I'll have to bend over and then people see my fat rolls and it's really embarrassing. And I think it's just a vicious circle. And I knew for me, as soon as I could kickstart my weight loss journey, everything would be so much easier. And I know it's like, making things easier, but it is like, well, would you try and crawl around if you broke your leg, or would you use crutches? That's a fucking stupid question, right? You would use crutches because it would make your life easier, and then you've used your crutches for 6 weeks and then your leg's fixed. So I know it's not as simple as that, but it's like a similar analogy. Also, my confidence, oh boy, I am not like nowhere near the weight loss amount that I want to lose. I want to lose another 20, sounds like a lot, another 20 kilos. I am, that's not even like where I should be in terms of BMI, but because I hold a significantly higher amount of muscle, I will find it very difficult to get down to my ideal BMI, right? Which is, my ideal weight is something like 55 kilos. Like, it's ridiculous. At the moment, my muscle itself weighs more than 55 kilos. So I don't quite know how that's going to happen. Physics or whatever. So like, it literally just doesn't compute. So my confidence, I just feel like I can put clothes on and not be sad about how I look and literally cry. Like, I just haven't cried about like the way I've looked. I've been a bit like, I'm still a little bit chubby, but like feeling way better about it. And it's not like this horrible battle where you're like, I'm never going to lose weight, because, and that's so demotivating. It's like, I'm never going to lose weight. What's the fucking point? Because it's literally going to take so much, like, to try and fit in the amount of exercise and the little amount that I'd have to eat in order to lose weight. I would be like constantly hungry, and then I would have to be exercising a lot. And yes, I am now eating less, but that is because my brain is telling my body that I'm not hungry. And that is like it's not been easy. Like, I've still had side effects. I've still thrown up from the nausea and the stomach, basically paralysis that you get. And I have felt really lightheaded. I've like nearly passed out a couple of times, and I've had to kind of recognize like when I'm actually hungry. And it's like, I'm not physically hungry, but my mind just isn't working. So I'm like, fuck it. And I work as a doctor, so it's like I can't not be thinking properly. So yeah, it's not without its difficulties, but I would rather be physiologically hungry in terms of starving, in terms of like, not starving, but in a calorie deficit, without being like starving hungry. My brain is like, you need to eat. Why have you not eaten anything? Eat. You're so hungry, you're going to collapse. Like, there's a difference. There's constantly fighting against your mind, which is telling you need to fucking eat, you're starving. And then there's your body who's going, okay, I haven't got as many calories, so I'm going to burn my fat as calories. And those are, when you're losing weight in a conventional way, when you pull them together, that's like the hardest thing ever, because it's like trying, I've never obviously tried to give up heroin, but I feel like it's similar to that. It's like your body and your mind are like completely fighting against you, and you could say, well, that's a willpower thing, but I would like to see anybody else go through it. Like, have you ever been hungry 24/7? That is I need to be hungry constantly to lose weight. Like, that is the only way, and it's like my body doesn't want to, so it just makes me hungrier and hungrier. And I know I sound fucking dramatic, but I tell you what, most people who are in my situation where your genes are working against you will agree with me, like 100%. Easy. And the people who don't get it, don't have that issue, like, you've got the right genes switched on, my friend. And that is the fucking long and short of it. Because I'm sorry, but I am convinced there are epigenetic factors that play into it. Am I a fucking professor in it? No, but I have a medical degree. Not saying that instantly makes me knowledgeable about everything, but I understand things in maybe a slightly higher sense of like scientific amount. Oh, that was a terrible sentence. I understand things in a more scientific way. So I feel like, and this is not me like bigging me up, but I just get it. As being a person who struggles with weight, and then understanding the hormones and the complications of how the body manages itself, and it's fucking amazing, but also slightly disastrous in a world where like food is constantly in front of us, right? So in a world where we have to go and hunt for food and search for it, fine, make me hungry all the time. That will probably make me survive. But when I'm constantly hungry in a world where I can get anything I fucking want at the, right around the corner, that's not a good thing. So I know some of it is you're fighting against your biology, right? And that is one of the hardest things to fight against. So I can make plenty of analogies, but I don't even need to go there. I also don't feel... do you know what? I was going to say I don't feel like I need to defend myself, but I actually feel like I do a little bit, because I think, and not many people have said it, In fact, maybe nobody's said like, it's a willpower thing, blah, blah, blah. But I know that there's that general consensus. But I think now, when I was younger, being fat wasn't really a thing. Like, it was, but it was like heroin chic kind of vibes on the runways. Like, there was a lot of eating disorder stuff around it. It was like being fat was not as common as it is now. And I think now everyone is either overweight or obese or higher. We outweigh the people with a normal BMI or underweight. Then I actually think most people understand it now. Whereas when I was younger, I was still fat, but people just thought, well, it's kind of your fault. I don't know. So maybe I'm taking that trauma from my childhood and just bringing it into life now. I know that people are going to come at me at some point and be like, it's a choice thing. I don't know. I get that like consensus from somewhere. But tell you what, my audience online so far, they're all going through the same thing as me. So we're all in this together. Power to the people. Power to my audience. And they get me and I get them. I was like, what's the opposite to that? So life is just so much easier when you weigh less. I can't even comprehend being another 10 kilos lighter right now. But it seems possible, and that is so motivating. It's like, it fills me with joy to think that it's not going to be like climbing a mountain every fucking day because I'm starving all the time and all I can think about is how hungry I am. Like, that honestly is just incredible. And I'm not like encouraging anybody to go on this drug, but it has changed my life. It's life-changing. It's we were all waiting for this, you know, like something to come along. There'll be something in the future with cancer, you know, and they're coming out slowly, but there's nothing that's like, this will cure you or you will be immune from cancer. For me, this is like my cancer treatment, right? This is you will be immune from cancer. And it's like, you don't have to do chemo. Chemo is the equivalent of dieting, right? In my world, it's like you're feeling sick every day. It's like you go through a similar hardship every day as a struggle. I'm not saying they're the same, but like, you know, and I don't want to like compare having cancer and being obese, but I'm just likening the kind of daily struggle of, you know, and then having a treatment for it, right? So it's like, okay, and then a cancer treatment comes out, that would be the best thing in the world. And most cancers, I don't know if most actually, that might be an exaggeration, a lot of cancers are through lifestyle issues, right? Smoking, drinking, being overweight, diet, etc. So if we get a cancer treatment, will people then be like, oh, well, cancer was your choice? No, because nobody thinks that, because cancer is a kind of more of a protected, you know, if somebody gets lung cancer, people might think, well, you did smoke, but also people get lung cancer without smoking, but also like people would still not judge people for getting treatment for it, right? So it's tricky. And also, you know, I'm not addicted to smoking, but I know that some people are, and apparently it's horrendous to give up. Again, I haven't struggled with that, so I can't comment. It's not an issue for me to comment on, right? So, yeah, I don't even know how I got onto that. Me just like, oh yeah, it's just changed my life. Like, it really has. I mean, it's probably completely changed the trajectory of my life. I might look back on this in like 10 years and be like, fuck, now I've got like a horrible thyroid cancer or something. Thyroid cancer, not the worst one to have, you know, you can kind of tell you've got it because you can feel it. Lung cancer, it just sort of goes under the radar for quite a while, so not as good. Not as good. By the way, being a doctor, you can get quite flippant with all these things, so take a lot of what I say and like maybe add a few notches of sensitivity to it, because this is just how doctors talk when they're not talking to patients, so I do want to apologise for that one. You're not my patient, so I'm not going to talk to you in such a way, and I don't want it to become like a doctor consultation, so that is saved for the hospital. Okay, so if you want me to talk to you like that, then come visit me. I'm ready. So just life is easier. Life is better. My joints hurt less. That was one thing for me. I was like, my knees hurt when I'm like standing up for too long, and my feet hurt. And I was like, God, I don't want to be like hurting, just like existing on my feet, you know? That's not a good thing to be like standing up and just be in pain. Walking upstairs is another one. Easier. Great. Don't get out of breath. Probably don't even notice walking upstairs now. I'm also able to do things I couldn't do before. It's starting to happen, but like I don't think I'm fully there yet. But there are certain positions that I wouldn't have been able to get into. It sounds a bit weird, but like, you know, I can't cross my legs right now. Like, you know how women cross their legs? Some men actually do as well. Not that I'm like aiming for that, but I'm just pointing out a specific position that I can't do. Because my legs are too like thick and short, so both the combination makes it quite difficult. And there are certain things I'd like to be able to do, like do certain yoga positions which I can't do now. sit with my legs like tucked up to my chest. Like that's just uncomfortable. It just really pushes on my stomach. And that's something that I've always had an issue with, actually. Just even when I was younger, because I just hold fat in certain places, like especially my stomach. So it's not as though that's gonna go completely. I'm not gonna be like a fucking contortionist, but it will be easier. Now, let's get on to the negatives. I did not expect to be speaking for so long about that, but I honestly thought this would be a half an hour episode and I'd be done and dusted. Not that it's a problem. Of course, I love spending time with you guys, so it's not a problem whatsoever. It's not a problem whatsoever, mate. So I am trying to perfect my accents. As you can probably tell, this is my slightly ropey Australian accent. It comes and goes is the issue. It's like, sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. But it's practice, isn't it? So there we go. You might think, well, why is Dawn trying to do accents? Well, I do have a little penchant for acting, so it's good to be able to do accents, isn't it? If anybody can help with my American accent, like, honestly, it's so bad. Ugh, I went into Australian again. My issue is I get this thing where I try and do an accent and a different thing comes out of my mouth and I don't know how to control it yet. But my American accent is like so my American accent is so, no, this is definitely still Australian. Okay, fine. We're not there yet to get into American, but I don't quite know what's going on here. I'm so sorry. Okay, the easiest one to flip back to is my own accent. Maybe one day I'll just get that thing, you know, like the wind will change and I just won't be able to ever leave an Australian accent. And that'll be kind of weird. Right, let's go on to the negatives, because there are negatives to losing weight. Right, I have clothes. Plot twist. Some of my clothes aren't stretchy. Another plot twist. So I wore a skirt the other day, which before fit me pretty snugly, right? Now, it kind of looks a bit bad. There's too much material there. And it's not to a point yet where it's like falling off, but I think it will get there. It's like a denim kind of skirt, so it's not stretchy whatsoever. It doesn't like de-stretch. And it was kind of, because it was looser, it was kind of falling down, so it looked really long, like kind of almost knee length, not almost, like close to knee, 3/4 knee length. And I was like, oh God, that's not flattering, especially being 5'1". It is not a flattering, length of skirt to be going that low. So I have had to go out and buy some new clothes, which is in itself expensive. God, what a fucking first world problem. But I mean, it's true, going out and buying new clothes is expensive. And it is, what do I do with all my old clothes? Do I get them tailored? I mean, I think the biggest concern for me, like big, plus in capital letters, is putting it all back on again. Obviously, when anybody loses weight, the fear is that you gain it all again, especially as it's been helped with these medications. Now, my aim is, this is something I've been thinking about since I've started them, and it's something I don't want to happen. I'm going to weigh myself regularly, every week, to try and prevent it from happening. Because if you weigh yourself like once every few weeks, then you're like, oh shit, I didn't know I was putting on weight. But I put on weight so easily that I am very terrified about this. And this is a consideration. But if I have to just be on this medication long term and just be on a really low dose, then so be it. That will just have to be the case. Like, I'm on antidepressants. Maybe I'll have to be on them forever. Who knows? So yeah, my biggest concern is putting it back on. So my method is going to be that I'm going to just come off it really slowly, monitor my weight as I go. I'm not just going to stop it. Like at the maximum dose, I'm not just going to stop. I'm going to like taper it down. And I've also obviously made changes to my life, like the way I eat, how much I eat, what I eat. Meal prepping is quite a big one, because if I don't meal prep, then I just end up coming home and just eating whatever's in front of me, and that is probably my biggest downfall, because you're like starving. And I've been making like snacks that I take with me, like my own homemade kind of, they're like healthy flapjacks, so they've not got like golden syrup in and butter, they're like coconut oil and like maple syrup, so they are very nice, but they're not like pure fucking sugar blocks and fat blocks. yeah, so I have made a lot of changes, and I've really got into cooking as well, like just making my own stuff, especially snacks, just shit that's easy, you know, like those flapjacks. I just make a batch, they last me a few weeks. Just leave them in an airtight container in the cupboard and they're fine. They are good to go. So my other concern, obviously firstly it's expensive. Not only because I am having to buy new clothes. This is new, although it is oversized, but I just kind of liked it. And it's getting closer to winter. It's actually a unique shirt in that no one will ever have a shirt like it because it's made up of loads of different jumpers. So good luck getting one that's exactly the same. And in my last episode, I actually wore another one, the black one, that was made up of loads of different jumpers as well. So yeah, not only buying new clothes, but also paying for the injections. They are not on the NHS. And unless you are diabetic, which I'm not, it's kind of annoying. In this country, you have to have you have to be really bad before they'll treat you, and bad enough to the point that, you know, there's no return. So it's kind of like, great, I have to have diabetes or some kind of other healthcare complication in order, surely we should be preventing people from getting diabetes, but no. Of course, the healthcare service doesn't stretch to that. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I've been saying since I was 18 to the doctor, can I have help with my weight? And they're like, no, you have to have diabetes first. I'm like, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to make my life healthy, not have health conditions. And I need help. And I wasn't able to get that. So thankfully, I am in a position now where I can pay for it just about. It's a struggle, but for me, it is worth it at the moment. So yeah, it is expensive and not everyone can pay for it. And at the moment, there are a lot of concerns over whether people can get the medication. And then it's well, if you can't get it, well, you just have to stop it, then put on all the weight again. Who knows? I wish I could just change a part of my genes to stop me from being fucking starving all the time. That would be great. I want to be like a person who doesn't have constant hunger. I guess I have some other concerns, am I cheating? Is it okay to pay your way to this kind of help? I mean, that's literally the crux of life, paying your way to get above people. But obviously it is a thought of mine, especially being a doctor. And yeah, I have thought about whether it is cheating, but also I do make the comparisons to other health conditions, and I'm well, if I had depression, would I see it as cheating to go on antidepressants? No. Or some people might still, because it's still quite taboo. But talk about the broken leg one, and there's heavy recognition for physical health problems, such as, especially old and well known about ones like breaking a bone. So yeah, I mean, the fact that it's affecting children, obesity, is even more concerning. And it's it's a public health issue. It's not choice. I could go on about this forever. I think some of it is to do with our environment. Well, a lot of it is, should certain companies be making profit over making people unhealthy? I heavily question that. Is it ethical? I don't think so. We're talking about, I don't even need to tell you who they are, but you know who they are. And there are other health concerns about losing weight this quickly in particular. Number 1, am I slowing my metabolism down? Number 2, if you lose weight more quickly, you end up losing more muscle than if you lost it slowly. Personally, I just wanted to reverse as quickly as I could the negative health impacts of being heavier. And then I don't have issues putting on muscle. Okay, let's get that straight. So I will not find it difficult. And also, why did I have so much? What's going on there? So, and there's also, I looked at this because gallstones and pancreatitis is a side effect of the medication. I was well, isn't that just because you're giving it to people who are fat and overweight, and I shouldn't call them fat, but me, overweight and obese? But it's no, there's actual reasoning behind it. So I thought it was like and also I thought, oh, maybe it's the medication that causes that. But actually, it's when you end up eating fewer calories, your gallbladder doesn't empty fully, because when you eat fat, your gallbladder contracts and pushes out the bile to help you digest it. And if you're not eating as many calories, not eating as much fat, you get like gallbladder stasis, which apparently is more likely to give you gallstones, and gallstones are more likely to give you pancreatitis. So I thought that was quite interesting. That is kind of a fear of mine, again, getting gallstones, just because it is also a disease of like obesity, so I don't want to be having that. But there we go. I think all in all, losing this amount of weight has been so positive, like in so many ways, but I still have my apprehensions for sure. Like, terrified of putting it all back on and just being like, well, great, I'm fat again. Oh, stop calling it fat. Great, I'm unhealthy again. So yeah, but I think it would take a lot of time, I hope, to put that much weight on. I don't know. I need to stop overthinking it, because story of my life, because otherwise I'm just going to be sitting here thinking about whether I'm going to put all the weight back on and not really enjoying my life. So let's put that to the wayside. I just go to bed, guys, because it's nearly 12 and I actually have to get up early tomorrow. Ew. Somehow I signed up to an early shift, so anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, or listening. If you are listening on the podcast, please give it a 5-star rating. That would super help me and like make me feel better about my life, but also help it, Spotify, show it to other people. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a like, please, and please leave a comment down below, because I do love to hear from you, but I don't hear from enough of you. And I do love that you guys listen. It's super lovely, and thank you so much, because thanks. Okay, I upload every Monday and Thursdays, and I will see you. I know it's Friday today. Oopsie. I actually was working yesterday, and then I got to work, and I was like, fuck, it's Thursday, and I didn't even realise what the day was, so I'm so sorry, but here we are. We're here. It's Friday, and we've done it. Yay. Okay, bye.